I told myself against all logic and personal beliefs that I, and now Diane, just witnessed the presence of a ghost. Doug paused and lit another cigarette, noticed Doug and the narrator talk very similarly, and slumped into his chair. His story was told, his pragmatism was shattered, and his conscience was bad. But the story was not by any stretch of the imagination complete. There was much more to be told, and what was to follow would test even the strongest constitution. Doug continued his story. Somehow Diane and I managed to calm down enough to go back to bed. I looked over at the clock and saw that it was 3:41 in the morning. It seemed that the episode took so much longer, but it all happened rather quickly. I think that we were both too shaken by the experience to go back to sleep quickly, but I remember dozing off until the sun was up the next morning. It was just after 9 o'clock when I heard some stirring downstairs. I heard Bess and Cassie's voices and realized that they were coming home from their overnight party down the street. Diane was already up and getting dressed. We would soon go down for some breakfast. Diane and I looked at each other, both knowing what we were thinking. Should we tell the children what we went through last night, or just keep quiet about it? Keep quiet about it. Why would you even wonder that? They are children. As it turned out, we had no choice. I don't see why. Kathy and Bess started up the stairs to their room, which is next to ours. Oh, perhaps this is why. Let's read on. When I heard Bess say something about my painting, it was on the easel downstairs, and as you came in the front door, you could see it. Anyway, Bess said something like, "I sure like what Dad did to the painting." That makes it complete. I forgot this is a little girl, not an appropriate voice. The girls got upstairs and I asked them what Bess had just said. She was really bubbly and told me that she liked the little addition I made to the painting, that it gave it that little extra that made it stand out. I hadn't worked on the piece since the last time the girls saw it, and I wondered what she was talking about. Story almost over. Okay. She told me the little girl. That little girl I added to the painting, she said, was what it needed. Later, Bess confirmed that the conversation took place and added that she thought at the time her father looked somewhat drained and confused. Doug continued. As I rushed down the stairs to the corner of the living room, I used a studio and damned if it wasn't there. Standing on the beach of my scene was a little girl, her back toward the point of view, staring out to sea. To see what? Ha ha ha. Oh no, I lost my spot. She was wet and her dress was torn up at the back. I swear to you that I never touched that painting since the previous afternoon. Don't ask me how that little girl was added to it, because I don't know. I looked at it for a long time and said nothing to the girls or Diane, but I know that Diane knew exactly what I was feeling. Doug said he felt ill at that... Doug said he felt ill at that point and dropped onto the sofa to sort things out. I really thought I was going crazy, he said, or maybe it was an elaborate joke. I knew better, though. There was no way to explain any of it now. Diane took the girls aside and related the incidents of the night. All were now very frightened and dazed by the inexplicable chain of events. The story is still not over, and may never end. Diane added yet another element to the mystery. The whole thing just kept getting more and more unbelievable, as if all we went through wasn't enough. A couple of days or maybe a week later, someone broke into our house in Beach Haven. We were all together at a friend's house until about midnight one night. When we got back to our place, we noticed that the door from the bottom floor was open, that the whole doorknob was broken apart. Right away, we all thought the worst. We immediately went to the neighbor's house and called the police. We stayed there, keeping watch on our house just in case whoever broke in might still be inside. The police officer got there in a few minutes and checked. He called us in to check on what was taken. Of course, the television, stereo, and a couple of small appliances were gone. There wasn't any real damage done, but altogether the thieves had gotten away with a couple of $1,000 worth of things. Then it hit me. I looked over and saw that Doug's escape was missing. The easel was bare.
The story's not over yet?
I know, it's the longest story ever. Doug adds to the story. That was really strange. First, if any thief tried to sell that painting, he'd have a hard time. Trying to seem modest. But I am not. I'm no Rembrandt. But even if he managed to do so, it seems to me that it could be traced very easily. Suppose by some chance that one of us saw it somewhere after it had been fenced. It seems that it would be very risky for any thief to try to get away with anything so dumb. Other original works of art were taken from the walls of the house. This guy or guys must have had a van or something, Doug laments. Some of those paintings were really large. All of them had a lot of sentimental attachment, too. The burglary was never solved, and the paintings have not yet been found. There remains one more chapter, oh my God, in this far-reaching and perhaps far-fetched saga, and one more family member who tells it. Doug and Diane's son, Todd, was detached somewhat from the summer's mysteries. He's hardly ever around, Diane said. One day, though, he became part of all of this strange stuff. Mom and Dad told me about what happened to them, Todd said. I have to believe them. They really are straight people, too straight sometimes. When Bessa and I once kidded with them about their ghosts and went, woo, they really got mad. They would never ever make something like this up just to get attention. Like Mom said, I'm never really around much. I've got a job up in Manahawkin at night, and I sleep in the mornings. Even then, I'm usually at a friend's house. In the afternoons, I'm either there or on the beach. It's easy to remember when that happened to me took place, because it was the last day we were down here in 1982. That is the year Tim Burton came out with Vincent. Little trivial fact there. I had the